Start here.
We either buy this or spend
Yeah.
$1,000 on a roadster body.
$2 on a repo body and then
Chop it all off anyways.
cut the living heck out of it.
We did bring a new project into the shop this week. It's going to end up being a 1932 Roadster pickup. The pickup body that we're using on this project is a body that I bought out of Colorado. I actually bought a pickup that this body came with, and it's going to be ideal for this situation because to rebuild it back to what it was, which was a 32 pickup, would be virtually impossible unless we could find a truck cab that was rotted off on the bottom and really only need the top for it. So, but for this type of build, this is going to be ideal body.
Well, this is the beginnings of a 32 Roadster pickup that the Durkinsons are going to be doing. Doesn't look like much, but by the time we chop everything up, and was no sense in buying a original or a reproduction body. So I'm going to start with this and see what we can come up with and what we can make.
Got the body fitted, got most of the body penetrations done, welding up some of the extraneous holes in the frame, stripping it all down and getting ready to send it up to the body shop. Well, instead of coming straight down with a plate here and a plate here and having a square notch cut, he wants an angle here so it kind of matches these two lines. So now I've got to lay it all out and figure the geometry and cut it. And being that this is made out of 3/8 inch thick plate, I only want to cut it once. Well, finishing up this boat side, I got Andy wiring the ignition system for the car. Got a couple of the long-awaited parts showed up today, so I'll be able to finish plumbing the fuel system. So I got this pretty much all boxed in, getting the plates cut, lay the finish weld in it, and we'll call it a day. I just want to know what he considers ready to go to trim shop. If I send this up there, it needs, you know, the paint and the primer. You're gonna have to take the body back off to paint the frame.
I thought it was getting powder coated.
Well, then how am I supposed to send this there when it also has to go to powder coat? This is what I'm wondering, because I don't
Well,
know
you
this
need,
new
first thing you
schedule
need
he's
to do
doing.
is find out if it's getting painted or powder coated.
Okay.
If it's getting powder coated, you're gonna have to smooth these
A lot better.
a lot better. You're gonna have to clean up this stuff a lot better. And you're gonna have to get the body on, all the changes made. Then the removable body panels can go to the body shop. The shelf, like you said, can go back onto the cart. And it can go over there, and this can get broken down and sent out to its respective
Okay.
area, whether
So-
we're powder coating it or not. This chassis is all done.
With the exception of, I got one hole to drill and tap over there for the fuel pressure rig.
Okay, what about the notch in the cross member?
You all got this, that little bit of welding you said you take care of for me.
Okay.
It's solid. There's two spacers up front that need to be made, but Brian, Mike's gotta get me some Delron to make them out of.
When the cars are done with you, all the fabricating should be done. Same thing with upholstery. All
Sharpen the
your
lines up
holes
and shoot it.
should be
All the
drilled,
piercings done.
everything, any modifications made, so all they have to do is put their upholstery in.
Okay, so basically I gotta throw the body back on this, set the brake pedal, and grind. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna grind those holes shut, but okay. I can weld it shut. I don't know how I'm gonna get in there with a grinder. I mean, the best I can get in there is with a die grinder.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna have to do. It's a rat rod welding cart. I still have to paint the centers of the wheels red, and we're gonna flat black everything.
Yeah, we're putting away a lot of the little details that need to be done now for the HVAC stuff. We got the pass-through mounted. I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to plumb everything, keep it nice, neat, compact. The owner's coming in tomorrow, so I want to have a good impression set up for him. Just trying to cross everything off on the list. A bunch of new parts came in today that we've been really waiting on. They've been on back order. So we're trying to get that all caught up. We got the battery tray mounted today, got the fenders and running boards put on for final fit. Still got some little wiring issues to work through and some mounting locations. Need to find a place to hide a big amplifier, so that's gonna be an interesting task. But we're muddling through. I think we got a lot done already this morning and probably be real close to deadline by the end of the day. We have a record of what we did and where everything's at for the future owner. And this guy, he really wants a detailed work list of what all was done and how everything's mounted, and it takes a couple minutes and makes him happy. He has a really, really cool dashboard going in here. It's full digital display, and this controls the display. I feed all the inputs into here. It encodes it, sends it out on this on the ZIF cable. And when this is full of all the gauges, we'll be marking that in later today. Everything's self-contained. It doesn't have the traditional gauges. The only problem is finding a place to put this big box in this little space. Oh, we're just gonna put the shifter in. It's not exactly where the client wanted it, but it is an automatic, so it's, you know, really just puts it in drive and you're done with it. The only problem is this is a forward cable exit shifter, and if I have it up here in the air where he wanted it, I'm gonna need to have a tunnel that hides the cable that goes all the way up to here. If I put it here, he's only gonna have this short of a distance to hide. It'll look a whole lot better for just a little bit of aggravation.
Okay, Tyler boy. What you're gonna do is you're gonna have to reinforce what you cut out of here.
Lip on it.
Put a lip on it, a whole 9 yards. The problem in the navigation system is identical to what this is. Well, see, that's what we're determining here is do we cut it all the way over here? You gotta have something for it to shut up against. You know what I mean? And there'll be cup holders behind here. But we're gonna recess that screen back into here a little bit, you know what I mean? I want it to sit back in a little bit because I want some shade. You know, because when that light's coming in, I don't want it to reflect off the screen. You know, well, it's gotta go straight back in. You know what I mean? And it's basically, you're gonna have a flat piece of metal that sits back here. So we're gonna have to make these angles here.
I'm saying you need more width, right?
Yeah. I'm at 7 inches here.
Yeah, but what about your door when the door's on?
Well, that's what I'm saying is I can make the door theoretically 7.5 inches. What we're gonna have is the air unit will be down here. There'll be a vent here, a vent here that can be positioned for in the back. Then we're gonna use the side vents over here and over there to the sides for the front. Then I put the ignition switch here, and then over here we're gonna put your lights and your wipers. And then the cameras will sit up in here along with that rear view mirror. I think we're good to go.
Today I'm out in the heater and air conditioning unit. I'm going 32. Right now I'm just making some brackets for it.
Those vents turn sideways too, so they can all blow at David, blow at Lois, and one can blow at Lois. Or you can take these two here and focus them in the back.
Right.
But what I'm saying is you could put it all the way to the back in the navigation system would go. What I'm saying is if you keep it up, nothing mounts out of the top. Do you understand where I'm going on this? That's what I'm saying, could we slide it all the way over to here? But then you lose your glove box.
You'd have a 4-inch deep glove box.
I like that. Well, don't forget, you got 4 inches, but you still got to come out with your hoses and everything else.
Well, 2 of them shoot straight to the sides.
That's what I'm
Those would
saying.
be these. The other 2.
But
shoot
then
to
you need
these
to come out
here.
the side with that, so you're going to need to move it over a little bit more. Remember, I want those 2 arms to slide on the side, so you're going to mimic what you have over here. Okay? Because I want it to do the same thing. See how it stops? There's a stop. Pull that all the way down. See how it stops back there? But what I want to make sure that is when it stops, Tyler, it's level.
Right.
It's got to be level. You can even just use a total sweep, you know? What I mean by a total sweep?
Yeah.
Just a full radius, instead of having to come up a notch, just a full radius. And don't forget, if we have our vents there, then is that gonna interfere with the air blowing in the car?
If you have this down, you have 2 vents here, and you just
I'm saying, so you
underneath
gotta
this.
kind of keep that in mind too, so. All right,
I'm gonna cut this out here. Let me go ahead and cut this out here then. This right here, this is for the navigation unit, and this is gonna be hinged down. You get access to your navigation. Hinge it back up, and no one knows it's there. All right, right now I'm making some hinges for the door. Gonna have that hooked up real soon. Then tomorrow we should have our new glove box, and we'll put that in too.
Originally, the roof was a canvas kind of deal, and today we're putting a steel insert in it. I gotta get the area clean, and in the general area, I need to straighten any of the imperfections. I'm getting a little grief from people here because they think the roof should be, everything should be cut out, and hammer welded and metal finished, but there's budget constraints. So I'm doing it right, Mr. Mike. There's more than one right way. But we're gonna put the roof insert in today, and I'm cleaning the area and repairing any of the damage in the general area, so that when it is welded on, I can do metal finishing on it. It just won't, we're leaving the original wood roof support underneath instead of cutting everything out and making a whole new roof support system. This is approximately centered on the car.
okay,
This side's dipped on.
in here,
Yeah, the reinforcement and all.
okay?
See it right here? But I'm gonna need to trim a little off the front
I agree,
because that's way too much to try to get.
I agree.
The rest of it fits fairly well. There's a corresponding high spot on that side.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna,
Tack it,
Get that
replace and
side.
dolly. Dolly,
oh, I can't because all the wood's in there.
you want me to
That's
take the
the
wood out?
problem. Well, then we're back to, why don't we do this?
Do what?
Cut all the stuff out, then we have to make the support system. We can't take the wood out.
You understand, it still supports over here, right? Still bolted to the outside of the car.
Yeah.
So we could use the same support system, just not screw it down in the center. Or do you
Yeah,
want to take these out and make our own supports?
we don't have the time or budget for that. We really don't.
I agree with you.
I think I
I think you
just
can make it work.
make it fit the best I can here, trim this up and leave it in there, no matter what Mike says. Because Mike keeps talking, he's gonna come up the body shop and mud this thing.
All right.
All
What's
right.
the next question?
I have to figure out a way to stop this,
We mean stop it.
stop it from going down.
Okay, where the hinge comes out, when you put the hinge through the dashboard, you put a L, that'll stop it. Does that make sense? When those come down like this, when they slide out like this, you put 2 tabs on the back, that'll be your stop.
We did bring a new project into the shop this week. It's going to end up being a 1932 Roadster pickup, but not the traditional Roadster pickups. It's actually, we're using a cab from an actual pickup truck, which, if you know anything about the Roadster pickups, they were really a Roadster body that used a pickup bed. And we're using a pickup truck body and probably going to use some type of aftermarket bed system in it. And it's all going to be custom, hand built. So this is a little bit different than what we're accustomed to around here. Not that, again, it's not a challenge that we're not up for, but it's a little bit different than we're used to, because usually what a customer will do is either bring us a car or pick a car out of one of our inventory down here and say, I want to make these changes to it. This car, we're taking an original body that was in, let's say, poor shape. I mean, really, really poor shape. But it was something that the father and son who are building this car, which is Paul and Bryce Durkinson, they, Bryce has designed this car in his head. One of his biggest idols is George Barris, and most of the viewers know who George is. If you don't, George is the one who designed the Batmobile and built the Batmobile, designed the Monkeys car, was designed the Munsters Mobile, Grandpa's, coffin, all those traditional movie cars. And this is what this kid is really seeking when designing this car, is something one-off, something that somebody else hasn't done. So instead of using a traditional Roadster body, as I indicated, he wants to use a pickup body. He wants the straight post on there instead of the Roadster style windshield. So it's really going to be a neat build once we're done with it. But like I said, we ended up using a original cab off of a 32 or 33 pickup, and that was chopped, and the back was cut off of it. It was perfect. It was right where we needed it to be. By the time we're said and done, we're probably going to end up only using the cowl portion of it. Now that's something it would take months to build, the cowl, because that's where the basic structure or support of the car is itself. Now we're going to strengthen that and use parts and pieces off of what we have, but again, it is all going to be hand built, so it's a neat build. It's just, and I can't wait for the viewers to meet Bryce, because he's an intelligent, energetic young man that is intending on going on in his life to be an engineer, to engineer automobiles and be in the automotive field. So this is kind of a neat start for him, and I applaud his dad for the support that he's given him, and obviously the investment that he's going to put into this car with his sons. So they're good people, and it should be a real exciting build. 33 Willys is at a point in time where Keith is just making some final adjustments. And what I mean by the final adjustments, he's done all the wiring inside, got all the dash panels installed, and is really in the process right now just making sure that we haven't overlooked anything. The next step is to go and have the interior guys rough in the interior to get it to a point in time where once it's done up at the body shop, they can bring it back and just basically install the interior after it's been painted. So we're moving right along with it. And again, Mike is making changes as we go along. Didn't like the running boards, ended up purchasing a new pair of running boards, which unfortunately aren't going to fit. So as I have assured him, we're going to retrofit the pair that he already has and make sure that they are properly, and his big concern about that is not fit as much as it was structural. There were some thin spots in it, which, once it gets up to the body shop, they'll strengthen all those areas out. It's on schedule. Again, those subtle changes that the owner is making does delay the process a little bit, but we're probably about 2 weeks behind on it from where I initially bid the car and brought the car in. So, but we're moving right along. The 32, as much as I'm excited about that 40 dash being put into it, it's like I've said all along, you're making that customization, and just each time you take one step or two steps forward, you got to take a step back because you either aren't thinking about this or are trying to accomplish something that may interfere with something later on. So it's been a little bit longer process than what I anticipated, but you know, again, it's customization. That's what you do. And although you try to think of all the bases going in, sometimes you do overlook a few. And the challenge isn't with space anymore because of the way that the dash actually has been brought out. The issue really right now is more about making sure that wherever you put something, it isn't going to interfere with something else. So the viewers did get a chance to see us putting the air conditioning system in, and probably going to end up having to swap out to a different style unit because of the fact that after looking at it, the locations of the ports of where the supplies are going to come out are going to interfere with other aspects of the instrumentation underneath the dash itself. So again, that change may need to be made here in the near future. Blades has gotten national recognition, not only because of the cars. You know, we've got a couple cars that made magazines, and the trailer sales, which is out there doing shows primarily all over the East Coast, but we do go into the Midwest. So, and with the website and, you know, selling cars online, we did get the name recognition this past year that I was really looking for. And yeah, it has done wonders for bringing people into the Beaver Falls community. You know, and Beaver Falls is a great little town. I shouldn't say a little town, it's a pretty big town in compared to most. But, you know, overall, Beaver Falls, the people in Beaver Falls are great people. We've got, you know, great relationships with folks at some of the local restaurants like Little Joe's and, you know, Papa John's, which, you know, tend to put up with all of our parking needs next door here. But Kelly's Hardware is probably the most notable icon in Beaver Falls because the amount of product that they carry there. It's just an old time hardware store that really stocks everything. So we enjoy being here. Hopefully the folks enjoy us being here, and we've brought a lot of out-of-state folks into the town. You know, most notable name from Beaver Falls has always been Joe Namath. So hopefully we're getting that same type of recognition. We are getting into the heavy aspects of these builds, meaning that we're coming down to, you know, timelines, we're coming down to budget crunches, we're coming down to customers wanting to change things at the last moment. So it is starting to get a little tiresome from that standpoint, but hey, we wouldn't be doing it unless we loved it.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm the parts manager. Well, I've always been around cars. I grew up in Montana, went to Montana State, ended up getting a 4-year automotive degree. Been about 8 years in a Ford dealership. Went to SVT school, did a lot of high performance stuff. Got tired of turning wrenches. My big fat ass doesn't fit in some of those little Fords. Heard about this place called WyoTech. Went there and taught for about 5 years. Had a lot of great students while I was there. In fact, a lot of them work right here at Blades. Got tired of teaching, you know, just wanted something different. He offered me a job and I took it. Here I am.